Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday, June 30th. It's time to go on the record. Massachusetts Congressman Stephen Lynch navigating a divided Washington, his concerns over threat to U.S. elections, and where he stands on the issue of impeachment.
The choice for 2020. Is your ideal candidate younger and all about change, or older and familiar?
The Democrats debate Elizabeth Warren front and center on night one, but did anyone get any serious traction? Let's go on the record.
From WCVB Channel 5, the inside word from Washington to Beacon Hill. Today's newsmakers are going on the record.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the last Sunday in June. Where did June go?
Unbelievable.
The last day of June is this day. As a matter of fact, I'm Ed Harding, along with News Center 5's political reporter Janet Wu. Thanks for joining us on the record this morning. And our guest is Congressman Stephen Lynch. He is a Democrat from the 8th District and served in Congress since 2001. He's a former state senator, a former state representative. He's also a former iron worker with degrees from Wentworth, BC, and Harvard. Great to have you with us, sir.
Great to be
Thank
with
you for
you
your
both.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So let's start this discussion with a really basic question. You don't think right now that impeachment is smart. Some of your colleagues disagree with you. Why are they wrong?
Well, I think the way it works right now, we know that with the evidence we have today, if we proceeded to impeachment, we would lose in the Senate, probably just before the elections, the way the timing works out. So that would give the president the opportunity to spike the football and say that this was all a hoax, and you know, if past history is instructive, it will help him get reelected. So I don't want that to happen. I think we have six investigations. I'm on 2 of those investigations. I think the better strategy is try to get convincing evidence where we might be able to persuade some of those members in the Senate that we need for impeachment, and take that approach. If you're going to impeach, you should impeach to impeach, not just simply to blow off steam. And you've got to prepare your case, and we haven't done that yet. We haven't got. Well, they've been obstructing us. We've got a couple of good decisions out of the courts, but they've appealed those. So I think it's important that we continue with the investigations.
So
and get that
are you
evidence.
saying that if you do come up with the evidence in these committees before the election, you should proceed to impeachment, knowing full well the Senate probably still will not go along?
No, I think if you look what happened with Nixon, you know, there was a phalanx of Republican senators who supported the president until the evidence was overwhelming, and then they changed. That's what we need to do here. There's also the dynamic that we need to convince the American people that the president has committed crimes here. And so I think the evidentiary process, the investigation, will help us in that task as well.
Is there a point in time that the calendar might dictate it? For example, the presidential election is I don't want to say it's immediately down the street, but it's down the street, and your job is to legislate and govern rather than worry about taking action against the president. Is there a better use of your time? I guess that's the question.
Well, no, exactly right. I mean, time is growing short, but we're doing our best, and some of the judges have actually tried to expedite the process a little bit. But you're right. If we go down the impeachment path, from now until Election Day will be all about impeachment, right? And so what about these 20 candidates that are running for president of the United States on the Democratic side? What about that whole process? I think impeachment becomes a proxy for the election, and we don't want that to happen. We want these candidates to be judged by their message and their position. We also want the president to be judged by what he has done.
So let's talk about the election. You're the chair of the U.S. Elections Security Subcommittee. There's an awful lot of mutterings about how vulnerable we actually are, especially to Russian hacking, with questions of 2016 still unresolved. So how confident are you that 2016 was won fair and square by President Trump? Let me start there.
Oh, I think all the evidence that we have from our intelligence agencies tell us, number one, yeah, they tried to hack. They did use propaganda, misinformation. There were a bunch of websites sponsored by Russians and others. So that did happen. However, the same intelligence agencies tell us that nothing happened with the vote count. There was no corruption there in terms of tallying up the votes. However, this is a new day. We've seen in the midterms that activity continued, and now in this 2020, we think that, and the intelligence agencies think that we should expect more of the same, probably intensified in 2020. So yesterday we passed the SAFE Act, which protects federal elections. It provides about $600 million to Bill Galvin, our Secretary of State, and other election officials around the country to create resiliency in their systems, to make sure that they have paper backups for their votes, and to update their technology so that our election process is protected. And as well, we've had cooperation from some of the big ISPs to basically take down those sites once they identify
Internet
them.
security providers.
So let's talk about the vote count. You say that the intelligence community tells you that no votes were changed. You seem to be confident that that is the case.
Yeah.
How confident are you that that will be the case again in 2020?
If we do our work, there are 9 states out there that don't have paper backup, and I worry about that. So in this bill yesterday, we require every state to take offline. We don't want the vote tally to be connected to the internet at all. We want it to be removed so it's internally protected.
But can that happen by 2020 in all the states?
Yeah, it can. The bigger problem is with the adoption of some of the new technology in 9 of these states that don't have paper backup. That's going to take a little bit of time. The other thing that Secretary Galvin raised was you need to train the workers on the new system. So to deploy it and have everybody in place and comfortable with the process by election day is the real challenge. And you have early states.
But you're confident it can happen, though?
It can. It can if we get right on this.
You mentioned technology. I want to show you this piece of video. Another closely related problem is connected to social media platforms. Is more congressional oversight needed for this? Remember how this video here, this was Nancy Pelosi, strongly edited video released by Republicans, and then it was retweeted by the president. It takes an image that is real, and you can alter it what might appear to be minutely, but it's significant when you watch it. Can these media giants like Facebook and Twitter really be controlled? And should they be controlled?
By government.
By government.
Yeah, well, that piece with Speaker Pelosi was not what they call a deep fake. That was just modified video. And it was actually easily identified. The deep fake, where someone can take multiple clips of you during a speech and then basically change your words.
Right.
That's much more pernicious, and the technology people are very fearful that it'll be a much longer time before we realize that those clips are actually fakes. So the technology is getting so good now that, and there are so many portals for this stuff to be pushed out on the internet that they're concerned that they won't be able to identify it.
So maybe
in
government
time.
can't, because of the expanse of it.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a big challenge.
Yeah.
And obviously the big players like Russia and China and others, national state actors, they have the resources to really do this well. And so we worry about that.
You ready for the OTR pop quiz?
Never.
You don't
Never.
have to worry about that at all.
Yeah.
We're ready to deliver the OTR pop quiz.
I think you're going to get a kick out of this one.
Oh, yeah, I do too.
I want to come some week and ask you questions.
You see,
Both of
well,
them.
that week I think I have to have an operation for crushed grape seeds. All right, it's time for the pop quiz. Multiple choice on some topics. And here we go. Shortly after your swearing in for your first term as congressman, you compared your unlikely rise to prominence to Jed Clampett of the Beverly Hillbillies. You remember that?
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
So our question is, name the actor who played Jed Clampett. Was it Red
God.
Skelton, Buddy Ebsen, or Fred Gwynn?
No, you can see the
Okay.
options right
It was
there.
Buddy Ebsen.
It was B for Buddy Ebsen. Very good.
great.
You're a fan of country music legend Willie Nelson. Nelson's favorite guitar is a battered 6-string that he named after a Western movie icon's horse. And we have the names. I want you to pick from this. Was it Trigger? Was it Silver? Is it Topper?
Oh my God! I'll go with Trigger.
Trigger, you're 2 for 2. Trigger was Roy Rogers' horse. Silver was the Lone Ranger's horse. And Topper was Hopalong Cassidy's horse. We're not done horsing around. We'll be right back.
All right. Thank you. Good stuff. 2 for 2.